Portugal showed enough against Wales to make Georgia nervous about this one. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. Georgia versus Portugal. This one is in the Stadium de Toulouse in Toulouse. It's on Saturday 23rd of September. Kickoff is 1 p.m. BST. This is world rank 13 versus world rank 16. So, Georgia just above Japan at the moment, but these two teams, there could be a big closing of the gap between them if Portugal get a win. We're going to have a look at the teams, starting with the Georgia lineup. So front row, we got Nariashvili, Mamukashvili and Gigiashvili. So pretty much first choice there. Georgia scrum, it's not what it used to be, but still, they need to find something. They were very poor in their opening game against Australia, and whether it's improvement in the set piece or just all around play, they need to find something from somewhere. So expecting a big game from these guys, both in the set piece and in the loose. The second row then we have Chachanitsa and Mikatadze. Back row is Jalagonia, Saginadze and Gorgadze. So, again, back row is so important. In the modern game, it can get you turnovers and it can, get you quick ball as well. So those guys are going to have a good game in this one, because they really do have a target on the back right now. Halfbacks then we got Aprasidze and Abzadadze. Left wing is Todua. Centers Sharikadze and Krevzaladze. So, Captain Sharikadze, again, gonna have to up his performance, I think. They didn't really have that good a game, and halfbacks as well, not that good a game with ball in hand. That's where they've made their strides over the last few years. Maybe, gone a little bit backwards in the pack, but their backs play has normally, at least, has been a lot better than we saw against Australia. Right wing then we have Tabutsadze, and star player Niniashvili is there, a fullback. Love to see him get some ball in hand. I think against Portugal is probably more likely that he is going to get that ball in hand and probably in space as well. So look out for him for some, decent runs and kick returns and stuff like that, and maybe breaking the line a few times. Onto the bench then we got Zamtaradze, Gogiashvili and Papidze. So they're the front row replacements. Then we have Cheyashvili and, sorry, this guy's name is hard for me to pronounce. Sutskiridze, I think. And then Lobzanidze, Matkava and Tapladze as well on the bench. So, changing up a little bit in the backs, hoping for, an improvement there. And then some of the guys on the bench started against Australia, so they'll want to prove a point coming on as well, and try and win back their place in the starting team. Onto the Portugal team then. So front row we got Fernandez, Tadjer and Ferreira. Second row is Madeira and Sequeira. Back row is Granate, Martins and Simoes. At halfback then we got Marquez and Portela. Right wing got Marta. The centres Appleton and Betancourt. Right wing is, Marta's on the left wing. Right wing is Storti and fullback is Guides. So, we saw the backs, like the likes of Storti, doing very well against Wales. And, how much of that is Wales just allowing them a little bit too much space, and how much is that just, their own play and, their own ability plus their own kind of tactics as well, we'll have to see, because I think Georgia probably will afford them, some space, but Georgia will also want to try and keep it a little bit tight and not too loose a game. Georgia like to pass the ball around, but they like to do it in a kind of a structured way as well. Onto the bench then we have Costa, Campergui and Alves are the front row replacements. We got Bello, Wallace, De Freitas, Lucas and Pinto there as well. So, in terms of their selection, they've gone as strong as they can. You expect that, because this is probably the one game that they targeted coming into the World Cup, thinking that this is a side that we potentially could beat, because this is a repeat of the final of the European. I keep forgetting the name of the competition. It's the one below the Six Nations, but Georgia beat them in that. So Portugal will be out for revenge. For me, though, in terms of how this game is going to go, like Portugal, they've got all of the elements that you want to see in an up and coming team. Got some decent players in the pack. They can compete at set piece as well, and they have they like to counterattack. They like to move the ball around, and unlike some other teams, they do try and play in the right areas of the field most of the time, not all the time. So looking at them from that perspective, they are a coming nation, and this would be a huge boost for them in terms of just raising the profile of the sport in Portugal. And that's what these World Cups are about, is, again, I've said it lots of times, inspiring the next generation of players in a country. Georgia, they've been right on the cusp of Tier 1 for so long, but now they're at the stage where they have all of these teams who are coming up, challenging them as, for a long time, since Japan got made a Tier 1 nation, they've been known as kind of the next team that should be raised up to Tier 1. But now, as I said, they've got all these other nations coming up and nipping at their heels. They'll want to send a message in this game by beating Portugal well. Whether they're able to do that or not is another question. Portugal certainly aren't going to just let them do it either. But I do think that even though Georgia were very poor in the first game and Portugal were excellent against Wales, I think that Georgia, they seem to just have some kind of mental thing, or whatever it is, they got the wood over Portugal at the moment. And I think because of that, Portugal are going to do well periods during the game, but Georgia are actually going to come out with the win.